Hi everybody, welcome back. We are back after another sort of mini break. With any hope, I will have some filler episode out between the release date and when we last had a full episode. But we are looking at episode number 35 of this dive into the Abomination vaults with this bunch of players. Um, uh, and what they are getting onto in here at the moment. We've had a little bit of a sort of back chat about sort of stuff that they might decide to do, but I'm going to let them sort of get into it. For this episode, we're not going to do much of an introduction. The only thing I am going to say is 89 of you have subscribed now. 89. Now, we're obviously kind of vaguely within our little circle pushing for that 100 number. We are really kind of looking forward to at least, that sort of landmark, I guess, that goal, target for us to achieve. It's something that certainly I am interested in. How much the others are interested, they might just want to play the game and not really care about numbers. But me, I like the fact that we have got some people coming in. Please spread the word of the stuff that we're doing. It's really nice for us. It's really, to a certain extent, slightly vindicating of taking this approach to record stuff and put it online when we see those numbers coming in. So, that's my bit. That is my entire bit. That is all I am going to push on this one. I will say, we're using Foundry. It's just gone up to version 10. It's caused me all manner of different issues. Thankfully, this flaw is mostly fixed now. But as they keep on going down, I have more and more things to unfortunately fix. That said, it means we have all of these maps. All of these wonderful, beautiful maps. So, can't complain too much about that. And we also use music from Sirenscape that comes through Foundry because we have the official Foundry module for Abomination Vault. So we're still technically using Sirenscape, even though we're not using the online player anymore. I do highly recommend using the online player if you can, if you're doing online games. And there is a desktop one if you've got speakers that you can plug into your desktop, which allow you to pump out the music into the room if you're playing it with people in the same room as you. So there's tons and tons of ways of getting the atmosphere using music. I know it's not to everybody's taste. That's the advantage of the online player. Those people that don't like it can just turn it off. And they can still do that in Foundry. So if you've got the official Foundry modules, they can still just turn off the bits that they don't like. So all good and well. And then we could plug other things, but I think for now I just want to get us back into the game. I just want to get us back into this game. The four of you have been kind of, generally speaking, marching through the area, dealing damage, getting rid of foes. But you've just come across a biggie that kind of made you regret your choices, I think, is potentially the best word for it. So you've retreated into a specific chamber. I'm just going to swap over the recording so people can see the game screen, and we'll put on a little bit of the background-ish music, and we'll just see where we go from there. You are basically in this run-down large collection. The ghouls did not complete their work. Not all the shelves have been rebuilt, but you have had enough time in here to find a number of books which you think might be of some use to you, but also in addition to that, spotted a couple of books in the room with the ghost which definitely interest you because you have heard those titles somewhere before.
We have, which makes us think perhaps is it worth taking these back upstairs? Because if I remember rightly, we did discuss this like a couple of minutes ago last week. we're kind of like underneath the temple we messed with upstairs, aren't we?
Yes.
I'll be honest, the scrabbling on the other side of those doors and quite how hard that ghost was in that scriptum room makes me think it might be worth a while having a look at appropriate options. Not that I don't mind stabbing things in the face, but I'd like to be more effective when we are.
It's true. I mean, I'm about half spent, so I'm probably good for one reasonable rook. 2 at a stretch, as long as it's something that actually responds favourably to being stabbed in the face by an orc.
I mean, we know that corridor we patterned up the doors just off to the side there. You know that corridor's got probably a couple of half dozen ghouls in it, maybe. That's a decent blowout.
Where's that?
So we could always clear that space out, see if there's anything else more around there. What do people think?
Yeah.
Nevi, what's your take?
I will simply follow the group.
Okay. So clear out the corridor, have a poke and see if there's any other doorways off it. Otherwise, think about having a bath and a pie.
Yeah.
Well, giving it a bit of a clear out now means when we come back, we've got one less thing to not worry about tripping over.
Alright.
Yep.
In that case, then let's have a look at this door. And oh, Invar, almost every single time after I stab something in the face, you go, "Oh shit, I should have done something."
Yep.
You want to do that? How long before it goes off? As in,
About a minute. So it
Oh,
needs
right.
to be just before we open the doors that I go and, apply some magic to your tool.
sounds like a plan.
Every time you hit something, it'll do some more damage just before you pass the baton on to the next person in the fight. More things you hit, more damage it does.
Vibrations. I like the plan. So I'll just bimble off towards the door to the west.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone else is good, we'll have a look around and just double check with a half nod and a we good. Flip the switch.
Okay. It's going quickly into just... There's things everywhere. You open up the door and a number of ghoulish creatures that are stood in the corridor kind of just look in your direction, not expecting anything really to be coming out there other than potentially their mates. We're going to do a nice quick combat, I guess. Wasn't quite expecting you to do this. I thought you were going to take a circuitous route around everything. But there you go.
No plan survives
That's what
contact
you
with the
told us you
players.
wanted us to do.
No, okay.
We
So-
never do what you expect us to do.
Well, there is that. There absolutely is that. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
eyes are
let-
our weapons.
let's do a little bit of versatile battle music and fade out the rest of it, and then you're in combat. I'd like you all to roll your initiatives, please. Nobody said they were scouting. Nobody really said they were being sneaky. So I'm not going to say.
Sorry. Wrong set of dice.
Ooh,
Actual
yeah.
actual dice.
You know
Fine,
what?
we're going to be like that then, now we GM.
Hey, I'm gonna be like that sometimes, yeah. Okay.
Hang on a minute.
That's good. That's good. I'm liking that. That's a good start for the day. That's a really good start for the day.
So we don't get to
Think
use
so.
our default actions. We are all on perception.
You're all on perception because nobody said otherwise. I'm just gonna be like that today. Ping. Okay, let's go with this then. Let's go with Inva.
18 and 5 for 23, please.
20. I mean, it wasn't far off what you rolled with the machine anyway. Neffy.
Same 23.
23 as well. It means you get to pick between the two of you who's going first. Moz.
So, perception is +9.
Yeah.
I've got +2 for incredible initiative.
Uh
And I rolled an 18. Can I take 27, please?
huh.
9, 18,
29.
27,
29. Yeah. Basic stuff. Okay. Well, 29
Try
it
not
is.
to run away until I've, magicked your weapon, but hey.
Phelan.
28.
28. All right then.
My
Started it.
God!
All right. Well, I'll let you know that Moz is first.
I'm going to have to hold my action, aren't I?
I have to hold something. Alright.
It's going to be like that.
You can ready an action, which obviously costs you 2, gives you 1 action, and a trigger for it. But to be honest with you, at this point, that's kind of not worth it for you. Or you can delay, and you can say when in the turn you're going, and I just move your initiative permanently to that position from that point onwards. Okay, so for the time being, if you are delaying your action, then that is fine. That means it's Phelan's turn.
Okay. Step to the right. So I can actually see something.
I mean, yeah, line of sight helps.
And let's toss a fuse flame at the closest ghoul.
Okie dokie.
Because it is stinky.
Okay, I believe that's an attack roll for
It
Produce
is.
Flame.
Yep. $20.
20 is definitely a hit against these creatures.
Okay. 10 damage.
10 damage. The flame hits it square in the chest. It does seem to do quite a bit of damage to this creature, but it is still standing. Inva.
Right, I'm going to spend 2 actions. I'm going to cast Echoing Weapon, which is a touch spell.
Okay.
You channel magical energy into the target weapon, and the air around it faintly hums each time you strike a blow as the impact is absorbed. If a creature is wielding the weapon at the end of its turn, the weapon discharges a burst of sound targeting one creature adjacent to the wielder. Sonic damage this deals is equal to the number of successful strikes with the target weapon that the wielder made that turn.
Okay.
4.
Okay. There's just a tiny little spike of extra damage. Very, very nice. Fair enough. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't believe there is an effect that we can just put onto the onto Moz to remind us. So if you can just keep us honest on that one, that it is there, that would be very, very helpful. You have 1 action left, or is that all 3? You've got
No,
1
that
action.
is 2, so I have 1 action left.
Okay.
And I am probably just going to cast Shield, because I don't fancy going first into that room.
Okie dokie. Fair enough. If you just hit the cast button on Shield, that will pop it into chat. So, or at least it should if you do it.
What do you want
And then,
to get it? Yeah.
can you see where it says spell effect shield? If you actually click and drag that onto your token, it applies the effect onto your character sheet as well. So, there
Oh,
you go.
that's neat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okie dokie. That's all of that done. Neffy, it is your go.
Okay. So from where I am, can we see? Yes, I can see one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose I'll shoot.
I suppose you can.
Question: would I be loaded?
Oof, I mean, that's a
I'll
question.
take your call on it. I don't mind. I mean,
Yes.
Back up.
Neffy would have already preloaded, I imagine.
Yes. I would imagine that is something that Neffy has done.
But... Okay. Don't want to take the mic. Where's my? There it is. That's a 23.
A 23.
Mhm.
Well, a 23 is gonna hit.
Okie coke. And it's not acted yet,
It has not acted yet.
so I get my sneak. Is that right?
Well, I guess you do, yeah.
Ooh, that's 10 damage.
10 damage to the one nearest by.
Yeah.
That's a dead ghoul.
Hey. And then reload.
And then reload, yeah.
Well,
And then aim at the further away one, who also hasn't acted.
Okay.
21.
21 is... Which one are you aiming for? The one up in the top? Or the one right down the
No,
bottom?
I went for the one below. Yeah.
That is still going to be a hit. And again, it hasn't acted yet.
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage. Okay. I mean, that one isn't dead. You might not be too surprised
Everyone, they take 10 hit points.
to know. No. One's already taken 10, so that's not true.
Yes. True.
Remember, I burninated the one that you shot first.
Ah, yes, you did. Yes.
Okay.
I contributed.
Let us now go with... well, actually, it depends. Moz, do you want to go?
I was just thinking that from my perspective, I actually wanted Invar to be able to do what they were doing. So it would have made more sense effectively for me to have held an action, effectively to attack anything that walks into range rather than delay to fall back in the initiative phase.
That's entirely up to you. That is entirely your choice.
Because 29 is a really good place to be as a fighter.
That is true. It is.
It's the exact opposite place you want to be as a cleric.
Yeah. Okay, so you're holding an action to strike. Also, please remember you do have attack of opportunity, so that might...
Not
Come on.
yet.
No?
Well, you previously ruled I can't use an attack of opportunity until it rolls around to me.
No, you have delayed, which means you have had your turn. If you had... Sorry, rephrase. You've held an action. That means you have had your turn. You've used a skill which allows you to have an action. So technically you've got an attack of opportunity. If you had delayed and then not gone until after the creatures had got to you, then you wouldn't get the attack of opportunity because you delayed your entire turn, not just had an action which gives you a thing. So you do have your attack of opportunity as well.
This just means something's going to get really, really stout.
I mean, you could say that, although to an extent you possibly should be thinking about using one on one and one on the other, but we'll see. We'll see how that
Until I
happens.
play that.
We'll see how that happens. So,
I've got choke point.
coming from around the corner, arrives, although he's going to struggle to entirely make it. There we go. Another one of these ghouls comes rushing round the corner. Moz, there is something close enough for you to hit. Do you wish to use your held action or your reaction?
I will initially use my held action.
Okay.
Just in case I lose that. Let's just skim to that. Do that. That was a good dice roll for me earlier, so I'm going to stick with that dice. Ooh. That's a 9. Plus 12, 21.
That is fine. That is a hit. Roll your damage.
D10. Let's change away from metal dice to wood dice. D10 strength. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We're going in with a 1 plus.
Plus 4
so
still.
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. He's definitely still up.
Yep.
Um,
I'm going to hold on to my reaction for now.
You're going to hold on to your reaction. Fair enough. So for one action, he has moved up. He will then attempt to have a bite at you. So 14 on the dice, plus 9, giving me a 23 to hit you.
That is a hit.
Okie dokie. You are going to take 5 points of damage, but I also need you to make a couple of saves, please. Although I believe you already have one of these. I believe you already have ghoul fever.
We treated
Yes.
We did.
I
Yes, you did indeed treat
Cure
it. You cured that one. You are correct. You are correct. So, can you make a fortitude saving throw against ghoul fever, please?
Ghoul's got wild. It's going to be a plus 9. Plus 2. That's not bad. 17 plus 9 for spots. 26.
Yes, you are more than fine. Okay, I'd like you to make another one though against paralysis, please.
Dave versus Stools.
As fortitude, was it?
Uh
It's a 14, but I've got a hero point. I don't feel 14 is strong enough. I
huh. No.
can't remember what the number was, so we're going to reroll that one. We'll use it now, early in the game.
Roll high.
For a 6, which makes 15, which could help.
That is a success. So it's going to try and claw you for its next attack instead. But that's only a 17, so it's not going to hit with the second strike. So that's the first one that comes towards you. The second one is the one from the top corner, and it's going to run straight at you as well.
I will react to this.
Okay, you do that.
Stab it in the face. Now, does this qualify as my second attack, or is this otherwise?
This qualifies as a completely separate thing, and therefore it does not matter.
That one up. Striking at 12 again. With a 9 and 12 for 21.
That is a hit.
Okay, we'll stick with the metal dice. The metal dice are doing it best today. That's an 8 and 4 for 12.
12 points of damage. It is still alive, but that one does not look overly happy with what you've just done to it. As such, it's going to try and bite you.
Seems fair.
However, an 8 on the dice plus a 9 is only a 17, and that is going to miss. So it will try and claw you. And a 10 on the dice with a plus 5 is only going to completely miss again. I have one more ghoul. I believe they are becoming predictable. The only downside for this ghoul is it actually can't get to you with one action, so it's going to have to use a second action to get in range, and therefore will only get the opportunity to try and bite you. However, 17 on the dice with a plus 9, a 26 is going to hit. You're going to take 4 points of damage. and then the whole thing happens again. So if you can give me those 2 fortitude saves, please. I believe you don't become immune to this, so.
No, it gets fun and interesting with mental stuff, but no, 9 and 9 for 18.
That is a success on the ghoul fever.
Paralysis, come on, we want 7s up. I'll take a 10, plus 9 for 19.
You are more than fine, and it's your turn.
Aha. Did you hit anything last turn?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
So at the end of your turn,
Successful connect. So therefore 2 points of sonic damage.
there's something adjacent to you at the end of your turn.
To that one, please, the southernmost one.
Now, I hate to say this, but your turn ended at the beginning of the round still, because you readied an action, and that is the end of your turn. The readied action then
Okay.
happens out of sequence, as does the reaction.
So if he delayed, it would have been then, but because he readied instead. Okay, fine.
That works.
Hit stuff
Cool.
this time.
It's vibrato, so it's a rhythm stick. Oh,
Which-
with the rhythm stick.
Which one are you going for first?
Southernmost one.
Southernmost one.
Round robin.
We're going round the circle, see if we can clear them up. Okay, off you go.
13 and 12 for 25.
That is a hit, sir. On your first action.
That's a 4 and 4 for an 8.
He is still alive, but he does not look well. I mean, he's undead. He's
He's
never
not.
really looked well.
Herein lies the rub. Exacting strike. I can't really disarm them with their own face, can I? So it's going to have to be.
Beat them to death with their own skull.
That's the one. Or even worse, tear off someone's arm and beat somebody else to death with the wet end. We're going to go for an exacting strike.
Give you 5.
Exacting strike. So, this will mean that if I miss this one, the next one is a neg 5 instead of neg 10. So, ooh, that's 3 and 9 for 12.
No.
They're good. So, next one coming up.
Okay.
Bang again. 17 and 9 for 20.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. So which one's this on again? Just to be clear.
This is the southernmost one, and I'll throw my dice completely at the side. It's in the dog
Oh,
bed, so that's
please,
fine.
yeah, don't do that.
That's a 10.
14
Plus
points.
4 for 14.
That will be a very dead ghoul to your southern side.
Got one.
Nice.
And that's me, 1, 2, and 3.
Okie dokie.
But sonic damage, 1, 2
Two.
solid connects, so therefore, can I deal 2 sonic damage to the one directly in front of me?
You absolutely can, because of the way that works. It stacks back. It does not look healthy either, to be brutally honest with you. It is, however, Phelan's turn.
Okay. So, now we should take a step to the left.
Jump to the
We're
right.
I was going to say, we're doing the time warp here.
Don't scale it. Don't do a fireball with pelvic thrust.
I'll go and get me feather boa. Nope. I have 2 targets. So it's time for the horns. Electric arc between the 2 ghouls.
Reflex saves, if I recall correctly, for this one.
Basic Duran.
Okay, so the one in the middle, what is now the southernmost one, is going to have a 4 on the dice for all of a 13. And the one at the north is going to get an 8 on the dice for all of a 17.
Oh dear. A fail and a fail.
They both take full damage then, I guess.
They both have 11 points of electric.
Well, the one in the middle sort of just disintegrates. The one at the top looks like it might be able to survive it, but unfortunately does not. Both of them go up in a puff of electrical smoke, and the local threat is fundamentally dealt with. There are no more of them. At least
We know of.
not right here.
Being the suspicious type the Mosram and the player is, I will start to take. We will cautiously step forward, as if we were scouting the way.
Nephew skips into the room, makes as much noise as possible.
No, sneaks in the shadows in a stealthy kind of way.
Whereas Phelan seeks things to not fall over.
What?
And Olerin just thinks you're all a bunch of bastards.
Oh dear.
Yes, settle
We're
down.
vaguely recognising the corridor to the south, but I'm curious about this corridor to the
Okay.
north.
What I will say is, Moz, as you step round that corner, you do notice that there is a large circular room right down to the south. That room is glowing with light.
Is this weird? Is this the kind of light that was buggering off and playing sleep buggers around the houses, or is this other kind of light?
Teleporty.
Not the teleporty stuff, because you haven't seen a working teleporter, to be fair. The room upstairs, which had the rather large serpent worm thing in the middle of the room, with the light that was sort of bouncing and crackling and moving around, it's that.
It's the straight. Is this?
Is it straight underneath there?
That's got to be the wall straight down there.
You also do notice a bit
That's
of...
what that light was.
No. You do also notice, because of your dark vision and various other bits and pieces, there is some movement in that chamber as well. There are creatures moving around in there.
Okay.
Although actually we didn't lose that much of the fight, and depending how long we take to do this, that spell might still be in effect.
It's been all of 12 seconds. You could charge down there and get something out of it.
Sure, what could possibly go wrong?
Cautiously advance, not at full tilt, but yeah, I'm going to start drifting that way.
Okay.
Until I can see halfway decently what shape they might be, if they're ghoulish or otherwise.
You move around a little bit before you go any further on the screen.
Yeah.
Are you being stealthy, or are you just walking up there?
I'm not that good at stealth, I don't think. Rightly.
Because I would point out, you do know that they have dark vision themselves.
Yeah, this is...
So, where you are right now, they can probably see you if you can see them.
Yeah. He was hoping to get to that point of just being able to make them out, either just as he was getting to the crossway, or otherwise.
So my question remains, are you trying to be stealthy?
He's scouting, he's not stealthing, I have declared.
Okie dokie.
So, because I as a player couldn't make out what they were, is that hope that the character might be able to make out a little bit.
As you step up through that corridor, you get to a point where the light is such that you suddenly start seeing the edge of a couple of creatures. They are sat on the chairs that line the outside of this room. The light pulsing and the crackling energy is still going on all around them. They almost seem to be healed by it. You know, they almost seem to be relaxed and comfortable as it hits them. Bits of their ghoulish flesh, and you can tell from where you are that they are indeed ghouls, begins to kind of stitch together and knit together.
Yeah, Moz is going to wave the group off to the west. I start rummaging in his pouch for caltrops.
Fair enough. the thing that strikes you is you are in plain sight as far as they should be concerned, okay? However, they are sat on these seats reading books and nibbling on what appears to be little bits of flesh, having a snack. And they don't notice you. Because even with your passive stealth of 11, I rolled a natural 1.
Yeah, Moz is just going to continue to wave people off, just be very quiet, and lean
Quick,
into the
into
fact
the
that for some reason he
corridor.
hasn't been the flanky shit.
I've reloaded, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's west. Jeez.
Yeah,
So-
I was on the eastern side to wave you off. to the
Yeah,
west.
no, I have worked out how compasses work, don't worry.
As you head over
Hi,
to the western side, this is the corridor that you have been down. You do, however, realise as you've passed along here, there are multiple doors down this long corridor that you have not gone in. You have not seen. There is a corridor directly opposite where you arrived and fought the Mist Stalker. There is a corridor directly opposite to the east of you, effectively directly opposite that line. But this corridor itself has on its own 1, 2, 3 doors, an additional corridor to the north, and the little offshoot corridor to the east has an additional 3 doors in it. There is a lot here that you still haven't looked through,
Are we feeling lucky?
Yeah.
and you have
Neffy's itching to open them all.
you have
Well,
a
whatever it is gets knackered eating Neffy to death. The rest of us can leg it.
the one
Well, I'm kind of surprised Neffy hasn't been playing Posties Knock on every single door that we passed, to be brutally honest.
She has been.
DM doing secret roles.
the one thing that you are aware of, very aware of, is while those 2, and once you step slightly round the corner, you see one of them in robes, sat at a table, a chair, not noticing you. So very similar to the spellcasty ones. You do realise that the fight to the north, probably they didn't hear it because it was over so fast and it was round a corner. Sound probably didn't get through to them, and there's a pulsing noise coming from that chamber where the pulsing light is. If anything happened this far south down the corridor, those other guys are probably going to join in.
We've made friends with one like that before.
So we're doing politics?
Case.
Okay. Moz will release his handful of caltrops. Are we doing politics? No, we're doing politics. Okay. We could do get help. No, I hate get help. Moz will continue to be overtly scouty somehow, and walk down until one of them looks up, and then we'll say, "Good evening. How are you doing?"
Okay, well, with the lovely ones that I rolled for their perception checks earlier, you get pretty much to the doorway, or what would be the doorway, effectively where the energy, you can start to feel like a barrier of it right in front of you. You don't really feel like you want to get into that energy light. You get all the way down there before the proper cultist on the east of the room looks up from his book and in wild bemusement sputters the piece of flesh out of his mouth that he was chewing on.
found some other books elsewhere. Wondered if you knew about them in case you'd got bored reading these ones.
They kind of stop and look at each other. And they very calmly and quietly close the books, put them on the desks by the side of them, and then start jumping out their seats. And we'll go into another quick combat, because I'm assuming this isn't going to last long, but there you go.
You watch. I'm going to get paralysed out the gate. Roll a 1 for initiative.
How much time has passed sneaking down that corridor?
Oh, more than enough.
Rolled about halfway up it.
More than enough.
Okay.
Okay.
You are not going to, I am afraid, get to do any sort of shenanigans like this, where you get to keep your spell that only lasts a minute for that entire time of sneaking down the corridor and working out what you're doing. However, I will quite happily get you into a combat. Okie dokie. So my guys can't roll. That's where that's going. My guys cannot roll. That for that one.
Good. Not as good. Good roll, but not as good.
And that one. Remember, because of the scouting, everybody apart from Moz gets a +1. So please do remember that. Moz, you just get your normal +2 instead. We shall start this time with Phelan.
21.
21. Okay.
Poorly.
Inva.
21.
21. Moz.
21.
Well, you can go first. I don't mind.
Actually, no.
No, I go first. Good point. I cast that spell again.
Neffy.
I did not roll very well, so 14.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I shall at least point out that the cultist has a vague idea of what was going on and is going to go first. So the cultist who's down on the eastern side of this chamber, as he's put down his book, he's going to raise up his hands and he's going to cast a spell. Which is going to involve me making an attack roll for this spell. Fair enough. Targeting Moz, because Moz is right in the front. And a natural 1. I wouldn't worry about it. I just wouldn't worry about it, really. And then he's, with that sort of terrible luck, he's just going to move down out to the towards the south of the room, because yeah,
Friend.
yeah, just keep out of the way. Phelan. Well, to be fair, 3 of you. Which one wants to go first?
All right, I'll go. I am going. If that's all right with Phelan. I go before Moz, but whether you want to go first is up to you.
I think I would like to go first and say something.
Okay. Go for it.
They're in an energy field that heals them. Let's back up.
What?
And I am going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back there. Order Olerin to do similar.
Okay. Technically you would have one more action, but I'm assuming at this point you're just going to kind of...
Gesticulate wildly.
Yep.
I don't think
That's more than fair. Inva, then.
So I will cast Echoing Weapon while I'm stood next to Moz.
Mm-hmm.
And then back up.
Okay. Just doing something very quick. So that's your actions complete, I guess.
Yep.
Okie dokie. That would make it, well, Moz's turn, technically. Moz.
15 feet is just too far. It's a shame.
So it's not quite true. They adjusted Pathfinder 2nd Edition ever so slightly with reach weapons, which mean that the diagonals are in reach, even though for normal movement measurements they'd be 15 foot away. For the purpose of making a strike, they are 10 foot away. So rather than doing like what used to be like a plus sign around the character to show what they can hit, it's always a square. So that is viable for you to hit.
Okay. Like I say, I'm going to stab the one in the face that sat down closest to me
Mm-hmm.
as the first action.
Yeah.
That's why this was so useful on you, because you have reach, so you don't have to be physically next to them. Yep.
It's an 8 plus 12, I think, if I remember the numbers rightly, since I've moved the screen. 8 and 12 for 20.
20 is a hit.
And a 4 and a 4 for 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay, you take a little chunk out of this guy.
And then I will withdraw.
Okay.
Been left alone with them.
And I will attempt. You can do like a take cover or
Yes.
something similar to an action, can't you?
Yes, you can. You
So
can
I'd
indeed.
like to try and use a little bit of the terrain to my advantage.
Yep.
Put it up against my shoulder.
Yep.
Get me AC.
That's fine. I believe it gives you +1 when there isn't anything around. But or +2. It's potentially +1 or +2. I can't remember.
I'll
But
just look past you.
I think it will make very little overall difference. Okay, so it is now one of my ghouls' turns. And it's going to... actually, no, not that one. That one. There we go. It's the one that Moz hit. And having seen Moz run around the corner, it's actually going to go for Moz, just simply because, you know, you hurt it. It does, however, have to get within your reach, which means your reaction, attack of opportunity, is available if you want to use it.
I do. Having quickly read, as you often do, using an outside source on this occasion, Archives of Nephis as a reminder of the rules. Otherwise, you gain the benefits of standard cover, a +2 circumstance bonus.
There you go.
Instead. So technically, I'll have an AC of 23. But on the way in, stab him in the face.
Yep.
Ooh, that was a successful hit. So 1 point of sonic damage before then, and 12 on the dice plus 12 for 24.
One thing I would check with the sonic damage, I'm just going to read it through. It is only an adjacent creature that gets hit by that. So at the end of your turn, because there wasn't a creature adjacent to you, nothing gets affected.
Yeah, it would have had to have been within... I think we'd previously talked about it being within reach of the weapon, but there wasn't anything in reach when Moz's turn ended.
I'd run backwards, that's okay. So 12 and 12 for 24.
24 is definitely a hit, yes.
And a 4 and 4 for an 8.
Okay. He is still standing, mostly.
Did you get a barcode on this one? 'Cause again, or is it...
No.
Okay.
No. It's going to try and hit you. We'll go with the bite first. 17 on the dice with a +9 is going to be a 26, which is going to hit you, even with the cover that you've got. 4 more points of damage. They seem to be consistent with the 4 damage. Let's see how you do with your fortitude saves.
Okay, first up, this is for the ghoul fever. That's a 14 and 9 for 23.
You're more than fine against the ghoul fever. Let's have a look at the paralysis, shall we?
Ooh! Thinky. It's a natural 1 for 10.
So that would be a fail anyway, but as it happens, that's a critical failure. Now, a critical failure is pretty darn bad. Thankfully, with paralysis, it very, very rarely affects sort of the long term. You know, it doesn't have a critical failure. However, there is something else I do need to check. Because paralysis has the incapacitation trait, and I believe that means that to a certain extent it might not affect you. If the spell has the incapacitation trait, it's not a spell but it's an ability. Any creature of more than twice the spell's level, well, that's not quite, again, true, but you are twice the creature's level, treats their result of their check as being one success better. So, you would go from a fail to a success. But there's a slight downside with the result you rolled. Because you rolled a natural 1. Which means it always goes back down. So you actually still got a failure, you are still paralysed. All that lovely circle would keep on going round and round. But it ultimately means you are paralysed and now have the paralysed effect on you. You do, however, get... Ooh, no, I don't want to paralyse the ghoul. I want to paralyse the...
No, paralyse the ghoul.
I want to paralyse Moss. You do get a new save at the end of each of your turns. So effectively, you will get to try and shake out of this, but you'll lose your turn in the process. In the meantime, it is still going to do something to you because it is going to try now and claw against you. 11 on the dice would normally be a 16. You still, even with the paralysis, have a better armor class than 16, so it still misses you. Which, you know, that's not bad. That's not bad. Neffy, it's your turn.
Oh, it's me? I
Mm.
can move away?
Mm.
Honestly thought I was sitting ducks then. I'm gonna go... Oh, no, into a wall it seems. Here, and then I was gonna step there.
Mm-hmm.
And then shoot this bugger.
Yes, fair enough.
That would be a 26.
A 26 is a critical hit.
Hey, so I get my sneak. right?
No, it means you
No.
get a d6,
No,
but
it's
you
not.
double it.
So it's kind of like doing my damage.
It's a ×2 rather than a plus extra d6. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
6. I'm trying to do math, so I was
Six.
doubling.
6. So after basically jumping up and grabbing hold of Moz and biting Moz to the extent that Moz stops moving, you shoot this thing square in the side of the head and it drops down dead. Okay, that is a reload for your third action, yeah. So it's now my ghoul's turn again. We'll run the one up from the bottom. So first action runs up here. It was going to go for Neffy and does see Neffy, so it's going to run into that corner there. You're going to get a little bit of cover because it's round a corner that it's trying to attack you, so add 1 to your armor class. But it is going to try and bite Neffy. So 9 on the dice, plus 9, 18. With plus 1 armor, you are still fine. No problems at all. You would have been okay anyway. And that was 2 actions to get to you because of how far away you'd got. So that is the end of the first turn. That means it is the spellcaster's turn. So he is going to, if I just zoom out a bit so everybody can see, he is going to... I'll try it. We will try it. So he's going to walk up, first things first. He's going to make sure that he gets to within 30 foot of Moz. should be able to do just from that sort of corner there. And he's going to cast a Ray of Enfeeblement on Moz.
Is that a harm spell?
Not really. No, Harm is a specific spell. It is a specific spell called Harm. That's what the necklace protects you from. Attempt a ranged spell attack. So I've got a plus 12 on this, and I'm looking for 19. I'm going to roll a 28. So I don't critically hit you, but I do hit you. You become. If succeed, the creature then attempts a Fortitude save. So please make a Fortitude save.
Ooh. 4 and a 9 for a 13.
A 13 is a fail. It's not a critical fail. You become enfeebled 2 on top of being paralysed. Yeah, all things starting to stack up on you. That is, however, the end of its turn. It is Phelan's turn.
Right. So, first up, Olorin, go bite the stinky thing by Nephew.
Okay, yep. So, Olorin moves up.
And he gets to go with some. Just going with the bitey bite. For 23 to hit.
23 is most definitely a hit.
For 8 points of damage.
Okay, it's a good start. That ghoul is starting to look a little bit injured.
Right. So we'll follow that up. Reduce flame on the same ghoul. Because I can't really do anything to wavy hands chops down the corridor. So let's clear this one out so that other people can. So that's 20 to hit.
20 is most definitely a hit.
Just give a D4 from massive sprues and model points. 9 points of damage.
All that grey plastic.
Oh yeah.
That is a considerable chunk of this creature. It's burning in multiple different places and does not look to be doing overly well. Inver, it is your go.
So, I had been going to use my nice cool thematic Reaper's Lantern spell, but that spellcaster's pissed me off. So, Sound Burst has a range of 30 foot and is then a 10-foot emanation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to drop it. I'm not pinging the right thing.
Again, if you hit the cast on the spell, it'll pop up in chat and you'll have the ability to place a template.
Oh, okay. Ooh. See, you've been weaning me off using my character sheet for stuff, so I don't keep rolling dice.
Well, I don't mind using the character sheet to do things like the placement and the effects. It's more trying to let you use the dice. So
I know, it's more
yeah.
my habit that I now don't use it because, right.
So a 10-foot burst, you're going to need to place the icon that will appear in the middle of a square rather than at a cross section. Okay, so
I'm trying. Next 10-foot burst. It is not letting me.
you should just click and then click, not click and drag.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah. Oh, that's neat.
In fact, I'm wrong. It's on a corner, so please place it on a corner. Emanation is the one that's out from a certain length.
Okay.
So
That would miss him, but that would hit him.
yep, that does indeed. Yep.
So he can have a DC 18 Fortitude save against that.
DC 18 Fortitude save against 14 points of damage. Again, I wouldn't have used the damage button, but
Sorry. Yeah.
I was only going for the template. However, it's a natural 1
Excellent.
for the save,
Oh.
so it would be a 8 in total. I'd imagine that would be a failure anyway.
Yes, it would.
So that's a critical failure.
So, on a critical failure, the creature takes double damage, is deafened for a minute, and stunned 1.
Okay. Alright. So, I'm
So 28 points of damage.
28 points of damage. Okay. That's a lot of his damage. I also apparently can be stunned and can be deafened. Just thought I'd check that, and apparently all those things are possible. So, yeah, alright. I am now deaf and I am now stunned. Just stunned is going to mean I'm going to have 1 action less at the end of the turn. Sorry, at the beginning of my next turn. And deafened. Automatically critically fail perception checks. Don't think that's going to be necessary. You take a -2 penalty to perception checks. Okay. If you perform an action with an auditory trait, you must succeed at a 5 flat check. Alright.
Look, when he casts spells.
Well, some of them, yes. Not all of them. So there are... yeah, there are a number of them. However, they don't tend to have the auditory trait, so that is going to limit that. If somebody can just check the cast a spell action to find out if that has the auditory trait, that would be really handy. But I
Depends
believe
on the spell you're casting, because they have somatic and visual and stuff, don't they?
I believe that most of those are concentration or one other. I can't remember what it is. Concentration or manipulation traits. They haven't gone into the whole. If you are trying to speak when you are deaf, then you can't speak, and therefore you can't do verbal stuff. They've taken that out because it was a lot of work for people. That's your 3 actions, or have you got one more? You've got one more,
No.
I believe. Cast shield on yourself.
Effectively.
Yep,
Having just made myself a target.
yep. Remember, if you drag that spell effect, there we go. Well done. That's cool. Thank you very much. Moz, you don't get to do anything. You are paralysed. However, you do get to make a fortitude save at the end of your turn to see if you shake the paralysed condition. So, would you please do that?
And 11 and 9 for 9 for 20.
You are no longer paralysed. I'm sure that's a wonderful feeling for you. You are, however, still enfeebled.
We'll get there.
Ray of Enfeeblement, I believe, has a duration of 1 minute. So yeah. Right. It's at this point in time that having
All the doors open.
having made a little bit of noise, the door behind Neffy opens.
No!
And Neffy is aware that there are a number of creatures behind
Oh,
her.
good God!
However, it had to move to get to the door, and it had to open the door, which is a manipulate. So it's only going to get to try and hit you once, which I'm sure you are very happy about. However, it got a 15 on the dice, so it got a 24, which is definitely going to hit you. I would like you please to take 6 points of damage from the bite that it gives you on your shoulder as it opens up this door. And then the whole plethora of fortitude saves that are required.
So that's a 21.
You are not ghoul fevered.
I had to roll twice, didn't I?
Yes, there are 2 things. There is the ghoul fever,
Yeah,
and then
21 again.
oh well,
Oh, this is good.
well, you're fine. What's to worry about?
Until the next door opens.
Neffy, it's your turn. Yeah, hiding.
Okay. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just gonna drop my crossbow and draw my rapier.
1 action.
Yep. And then stab this one because I know it's been injured.
Yeah.
So that is 26.
That is a critical hit. Roll your, I believe it's still D6, doubled. Yeah, D6 doubled, please. But because it's a rapier, also add an additional D8 on top because it's deadly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. So +8, so 12.
You take this one apart. It was very much falling apart in the first place, but with a few good stabs and cuts, you managed to deal with it. Okay, you have one action left. Yes.
Stab the one behind me.
Okay.
Or try and stab the one behind me. 21.
That is a hit.
5 damage.
5 points of damage to the one behind you. Okay. As we get through this fight, towards the end stages of this, Neffy, you realise that the door at the end of the corridor opens up,
Yeah.
and another 2 ghouls come charging down the corridor towards you.
Dice for my fortitude saves.
And I think we'll end this session there.
Ah!
Everybody,
I was expecting you to do something stupid, players. Why would you ever do something so simple?
well, I mean, this isn't that difficult. They're only ghouls. But all I said.
Every goddamn orc on well.
We'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye for now. We'll come back after we've got some drinks and do a bit more recording, I think. Bye bye.